Have you ever wondered if something as simple as your blood type might hold deeper meaning? Not medically, psychologically, spiritually. Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, believed that the universe hides its greatest truths in plain sight. Symbols, patterns, repetition. To Jung, nothing was random, especially not the patterns within us. And perhaps, just perhaps, your blood type is one such pattern, one that reflects more than your biology, one that whispers of your soul. Take a moment. Picture your blood type, those two letters on your medical record, A, B, AB, or O. What if those letters were more than classifications? What if they were archetypes, maps to the unconscious, mirrors to the person you were always meant to become? Imagine that your veins carry not just nutrients, but narratives, ancient ones, written before you were born, because that's what Jung's theory invites us to consider, that we are not blank slates. We are born into patterns, predispositions, psychological codes waiting to be deciphered. And perhaps, just perhaps, your blood type plays a role in this grand script. Let's begin with the meticulous, the structured, the perfectionist, often found in type A. If you're type A, you might have grown up hearing that you're organized, responsible, focused. People probably trusted you to remember birthdays, lock doors, or finish group projects. But what they don't see is the silent storm behind your eyes, the constant need to hold things together, to bring order where others leave chaos. This isn't about being neat for neat's sake. This is deeper. You don't clean your desk because it's dusty. You clean it because it calms your mind. You don't double-check because you don't trust others. You double-check because peace, for you, comes from preparation. Jung would say that this drive isn't accidental. It's archetypal. You're embodying the perfectionist, a psychological force rooted in the desire to impose harmony on a disordered world. You don't just seek clarity, you create it. But like all archetypes, this one has a shadow. For type A souls, that shadow is anxiety, the fear that something might slip, that imperfection will cost you control, that if you're not constantly vigilant, everything will unravel. And here's the paradox. Your strength is also your burden. Your attention to detail wins praise, but it also leaves you exhausted. You're admired for being dependable, yet inside, you sometimes wish someone else would just take over. For once. Jung believed that to truly evolve, we must face our shadows. And for you, that means understanding that perfection doesn't equal peace, that sometimes being human is messier than your systems allow, that it's okay to be unfinished, to be in process. Now let's talk relationships. You don't give your heart easily, but when you do, you're fiercely loyal. You don't love halfway. You show up, stay late, hold space. People know they can count on you. You're the anchor in their storm. But again, the shadow whispers. In your quest for harmony, do you ever lose your voice? Do you say yes when you mean no? Do you calm the waters for others while letting your own needs drown? This is the shadow of the sage, Jung would say. The wise figure who maintains peace but forgets to dance in the chaos. You might fear rocking the boat, but sometimes rocking it is how you reach the other shore. The journey of the type soul isn't about becoming less disciplined. It's about becoming more whole, about letting in disorder without losing your center, about realizing that structure is beautiful, but so is surrender. So if you're type A, remember, your blood might carry precision, but your soul craves softness too. And maybe, just maybe, you were born not just to lead, but to let go. There's a fire that doesn't roar. It flickers quietly behind the eyes of those with type B blood. They may not seek attention, but when they walk into a room, something shifts. Carl Jung would have called it the spirit of the explorer, the one who doesn't settle, who listens to the echo of possibility in every silence. Unlike the orderly, detail-bound nature of type A, type B souls aren't built for linear paths. They are drawn to contradictions, to the thrill of discovery. While others anchor themselves in predictability, the type B person craves movement, not just in geography, but in thought, in emotion, in self. They live with one foot on the ground and one in the dream. Have you ever felt an itch to change jobs, even when things were fine? Or booked a spontaneous trip, just to feel new air in your lungs? That's not flakiness. That's your archetype speaking. Jung believed that the soul doesn't evolve in safety. It evolves in motion. These are people who don't just think outside the box. They forget the box was ever there. Their minds stretch like rivers, changing shape to suit their surroundings, but always moving towards something greater. They are the ones who ask, what if, when everyone else asks, "What now?" But this gift can be a burden too. In a world addicted to schedules and labels, the B-type often feels misplaced. Their flexible thinking can be mistaken for inconsistency. Their love of solitude can be seen as detachment. They may struggle to finish what they start, not from lack of effort, but because the initial spark fades when growth stops. They are not disloyal. They are searching. In relationships, they offer honesty instead of polish. They don't hide behind roles or expectations. What you see is what you get, but only if you're brave enough to look beneath the surface. They don't pretend to feel things they don't. But when they do love, it's with a depth that surprises even themselves. Jung would recognize this as the transcendent function in action, the inner bridge between opposites. Type B individuals have a rare gift, the ability to hold tension without collapse, to find meaning in ambiguity. They see links between ideas others miss, weaving together logic and intuition, shadow and light. Professionally, they thrive in roles that reward fluidity, creative arts, innovation, entrepreneurship, even diplomacy. They are the change makers, not by force, but by vision. When others see limits, they see doors. But here's the turn. This freedom can be isolating. Always evolving means rarely arriving. Their path is not straight, and that can feel lonely. They long for someone not to fix them, but to walk beside them, even when the trail disappears into the unknown. So what can a Type B do? Honor the fluidity, but root the vision. Embrace the rebellion, but build something from it. You are not inconsistent. You are adaptive. You are not lost. You are in motion. And in that motion, Jung would say, lies the soul's true calling. To become not what the world expects, but what the self whispers when no one else is listening. If your blood type is B, Jung might say you carry a spark of sacred restlessness. There's something in you that resists the ordinary, not out of rebellion, but because your soul is wired to seek, to wonder, to roam. You're not just living life. You're chasing life's hidden meanings, hoping to catch even a glimpse of something deeper, truer, freer. But with every strength comes a shadow. The same freedom that lifts your spirit can sometimes keep you from staying still long enough to finish what you started. You may leap into new projects, ideas, or relationships with wild enthusiasm, only to drift away the moment they start feeling too predictable. You crave freshness, movement, the thrill of the next horizon. But Jung would remind you, even the sky has to settle into night. In relationships, this restless nature can play out as a subtle resistance to being pinned down. You may long for deep emotional connection, but only if it doesn't threaten your space to breathe. Love, to you, cannot be a leash. It must be a journey, not a destination. A partnership, not a prison. That's not a flaw. It's your way of staying true to yourself in a world that too often demands conformity. Let's pause here, because this is where Jung would ask you to go inward. He would say, look at the pattern, but don't let it rule you. That's the path of individuation. Not to abandon your gifts, but to become conscious of how they sometimes turn on you. Your gift of exploration is sacred, but when unchecked, it can leave you alone at the edge of every map, watching others build homes while you keep walking. But what if you didn't have to choose? What if you could explore and still return? What if commitment wasn't a threat, but a deeper kind of freedom? Jung believed that healing doesn't mean becoming someone new. It means becoming who you truly are, but with awareness. As a Type B, your natural gift is in questioning, in synthesizing what others separate. You can take rigid structures and breathe life into them. Where Type A sees a rule, you see an opportunity. Where others see black or white, you play in the space between. You are a connector, a translator between the rational and the wild, the logical and the emotional. Your presence reminds others that imagination is not weakness. It's wisdom, wearing a playful disguise. Still, that role can feel isolating. While others seem to settle down, you may wonder why your path feels so winding, so lonely at times. But Jung would call this your sacred path. You are not lost. You are mapping new territory. Your restlessness isn't dysfunction. It's design. You walk the road not taken because you were never meant to follow. And in that walking, you carry a light for others, those who forgot how to wonder, how to dream, how to see the magic in the everyday. You remind the world that there's always something waiting to be discovered, even in the familiar. So don't shrink. Don't let others make you feel like your difference is a defect. Type B is not a mistake. It's an archetype, the explorer, the artist, the inventor. Yours is the path of individuation, but not through isolation, through integration, by learning when to pause, when to stay, when to let someone in. Because true freedom isn't the absence of connection. It's the ability to choose connection without losing yourself. And that is a lesson only a soul like yours can teach. Among all blood types, AB stands as the rarest, and perhaps the most psychologically rich. Not merely a combination of A and B antigens, it is a living symbol of duality integrated. If you carry AB blood, you may notice something curious. You often feel like two people in one. And far from being a flaw, this very paradox might be your greatest strength. Carl Jung once spoke of the conjunctio oppositorum, the sacred union of opposites, as the foundation of psychological wholeness. AB types, biologically and symbolically, are born into this union. You are a walking dialogue between structure and freedom, logic and intuition, empathy and analysis. Your very blood carries a message that you are here to bridge divides, not by choosing one side, but by holding space for both. Do you ever feel like you're constantly adapting, shifting between personas depending on who you're with? Some might call that inauthentic. Jung would not. He would call it the rare art of psychological flexibility. Where others build walls, you see doorways. Where most people are binary, you are fluid. Not because you lack definition, but because you have learned to speak in the language of nuance. In the Japanese Ketsueki-gata system, AB types are described as enigmatic, thoughtful, and unusually complex. Jung might have recognized you as a classic mediator archetype, someone who feels most alive when standing between polarities, helping opposing forces understand each other. It's not indecision you carry, it's integration. You likely have a mind that moves sideways. While others follow linear paths, you leap between ideas, connecting threads few would notice. This is what Jung would call active imagination, the ability to synthesize reality and possibility into something new. Your creativity doesn't explode outward, it weaves inward. You solve problems not by breaking them open, but by understanding how their pieces speak to each other. AB individuals often wrestle with identity. Do you feel hard to categorize, like no one box quite fits? This isn't a failure of the world to see you. It's the world struggling to understand someone who is built to transcend categories. While others seek a place to belong, you may feel your task is to create space where opposites coexist in harmony. This can be exhausting. Your deep sensitivity to social energy, emotional tones, and conflicting expectations may leave you feeling invisible, even when you're deeply involved. But that sensitivity, when honored rather than rejected, is your compass. In a fragmented world, you may be one of the few who can see the whole. In love and friendship, you are the one people come to not for easy answers, but for understanding. You have a rare ability to hold the hurt of two sides without trying to fix either. You don't take sides, you take time. Time to listen, time to feel, time to reflect. And that time is a gift. But gifts often come with burdens, because when you're everyone's mirror, you can lose sight of your own face. Jung might remind you here, the goal is not to abandon your dual nature, but to center it, to become the still point in the spinning world, to recognize that your ability to shift doesn't mean you lack substance. It means you are the substance that allows life to shift. So, if you are type AB, you are not a contradiction. You are a resolution. You are not a puzzle to be solved. You are the key that turns the lock.